Um, there is a clock somewhere in this energy, and it is moving faster than usual. That is the very first sensation that arrived the moment I opened this reading for you, Virgo. Not a vague, distant sense of future possibility. Something close, something pressing toward the present moment with real urgency. Spirit is showing me a window of just a few hours, and within that window, someone is going to take action that genuinely shifts the direction of your life. I want to walk you through every layer of what this means, who this person is, what specifically they are about to do, and how you should hold yourself as this unfolds. Stay with me through this entire reading because the details matter here, and I do not want you to miss anything important by rushing through it. Let me describe what I felt the instant this energy opened, because the quality of the first impression always tells me something significant about what we are working with. I felt acceleration, a specific, almost physical sensation of something speeding up after a period of slowness. If you have been feeling like things have been stagnant lately, like you have been waiting for movement that simply was not coming, I want you to hear this clearly. That waiting period is ending, and it is ending abruptly rather than gradually. I also felt decisiveness in this energy, which is worth noting because it tells me something about the person involved. This is not someone who's still deliberating, still going back and forth, still uncertain about what they want to do. The decision has already been made. What remains is simply the execution of that decision, and that execution is happening soon. I want to talk about who this person is because Spirit is giving me distinct impressions, and I think identifying them will help you recognize this moment when it actually arrives. I am sensing someone who has been observing your life from a position of genuine care, even if that care has not always been obvious or openly expressed. This is not a stranger acting randomly. This is someone whose connection to you, whether romantic, platonic, professional, or familial, carries real weight and history. They know enough about your circumstances, your needs, your situation to take an action that is specifically relevant to your life rather than something generic. I am also sensing that this person has been holding back for some time. There has been hesitation, perhaps caution, perhaps simply waiting for the right moment or the right amount of certainty before moving forward. That hesitation is now resolving. Something has shifted internally for them, a final piece of clarity or courage falling into place, and they are no longer willing to wait. I want to describe this person's energy a bit further because I think the more specific I can be here, the more useful this becomes for you. There is a quality of steadiness underneath whatever nervousness they may be feeling about taking this action. This is not someone acting impulsively or carelessly. This is someone who has thought through what they are about to do, who understands the weight of it, and who has made peace with the vulnerability required to follow through. I am sensing that this person values you in a way that has perhaps not always been visible or obvious in their day-to-day behavior, but that has been present underneath the surface the entire time. I also want to address the possibility that this is not a single individual, but rather a situation involving more than one person whose combined actions create the shift this reading is describing. For some of you, multiple people may be involved in coordinating or contributing to whatever unfolds in these next few hours. Even if one specific person ends up being the one who delivers the final action or communication directly to you, let me speak to what specifically might be driving this person to act now, because understanding their motivation gives this reading more depth and more usefulness for you. I am seeing a combination of factors here. The first is a growing sense of urgency on their part, a feeling that if they continue waiting, an opportunity or a window might close. This urgency is not panic, it is clarity. They have recognized that delay is no longer serving anyone, least of all you, and that taking action now is both possible and necessary. The second factor I am sensing is something that happened recently in their own life or awareness that prompted this shift. Perhaps they received information, had a conversation, or experienced a moment of realization that clarified their thinking in a way that had not been clear before. Whatever this catalyst was, it functioned as the final push needed to move from contemplation into actual movement. I am also sensing a third factor, something connected to their own growth or readiness. This person has likely been working through their own internal obstacles, whatever those might be, fear, uncertainty, practical concerns, and has now reached a point where those obstacles no longer feel as significant as they once did. They are ready in a way they were not ready before, and that readiness is what allows action to finally happen. I want to add one more layer to this because I think it deserves attention. Spirit is showing me that part of what has shifted for this person involves a recalibration of priorities. Something happened, perhaps subtly, that caused them to reassess what actually matters to them, and you came into sharper focus as a result of that reassessment. Sometimes people need a moment of contrast, an experience that shows them clearly what life feels like without something or someone significant present before they fully understand the value of what they have access to. I am sensing this kind of contrast played a role in bringing this person to where they are now, standing at the edge of taking real action rather than continuing to simply think about it. This reassessment of priorities also means that whatever action arrives is unlikely to be a fleeting impulse. When someone arrives at action through genuine reassessment of what matters most to them, that action tends to carry more staying power than something driven purely by a temporary emotional spike. I want you to hold on to this distinction as you receive whatever comes your way in these next few hours. I want to address what this action might actually look like because Spirit is showing me several possibilities, and I want you to be able to recognize whichever one applies to your specific situation. For some of you, this is going to involve direct communication, a message, a call, a conversation initiated by this person that addresses something significant, whether that is an admission of feelings, an apology, an offer, or important information you have been waiting to receive. The communication itself is going to feel different from ordinary contact. There will be a weight to it, a sense that this particular exchange matters more than typical interactions. For others, this action is going to be more tangible and practical. A decision made on your behalf or in connection with you that has real world implications, whether financial, professional, or logistical. Something gets set into motion that changes your circumstances in a concrete way, not just an emotional or relational way. For some of you, I am seeing this take the form of a physical action, something this person does that you will witness directly, an appearance, a gesture, something that requires them to show up in your life in a way they have not recently. I want to add a fourth possibility here as well, because Spirit is showing me this as relevant for a meaningful portion of you watching this reading. Some of you are going to experience this action through a third party, someone else delivering information or making something happen on behalf of the person at the center of this energy. This could look like a mutual friend reaching out, a colleague passing along significant news, or someone in your circle becoming the messenger for something this primary person has set into motion but is not delivering directly themselves, at least not in this initial moment. Whatever specific form this takes, I want you to pay attention to how it feels rather than only what it looks like on the surface. Genuine, meaningful action tends to carry an unmistakable weight to it, a sense that something different is happening compared to the ordinary flow of your days. Trust that feeling when it arrives, even before you have fully processed the practical details of what occurred. Does this feel like it is connecting to a specific situation you have been sensing lately, Virgo? Has there been a feeling that something is building, even if you could not quite name what it was? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear what resonates with your own experience right now. I want to speak to the emotional texture of what this person is feeling as they prepare to take this action, because I think understanding their internal state helps you receive whatever happens with more context and compassion. There is nervousness present, genuine nervousness, the kind that comes from caring deeply about an outcome rather than acting carelessly or without investment. This person understands that what they are about to do matters, and that understanding creates a certain vulnerability in them as they move toward actually doing it. I want you to hold this awareness because it means whatever action arrives is not casual or thoughtless. It comes from a place of real significance to them. I am also sensing relief beginning to emerge alongside the nervousness, the kind of relief that comes from finally moving after a long period of stillness, even when the movement itself feels frightening. There is something almost freeing about finally acting on a decision that has been weighing on someone, regardless of how uncertain the outcome of that action might feel in the moment. I want to talk about the few hours mentioned in this reading's title because I know timing is often one of the most pressing questions, and I want to address it honestly. I am not going to give you an exact countdown because that is not how this energy is presenting itself to me, and manufacturing false precision would not serve you well. What I am sensing is genuine immediacy. This is not a months away possibility. This is something unfolding in real time, very close to the moment you are receiving this reading. The window Spirit is showing me is short, measured in hours rather than days or weeks, which tells me you should remain particularly present and aware in your immediate environment rather than assuming this is something to think about only in the abstract future. Inhale with me for a moment, Virgo. I want to speak to something about your own power in this situation because I do not want you to feel as though you are simply waiting passively for whatever this person decides to do. Your role right now is presence, genuine, grounded presence in your own life, your own day, your own immediate circumstances. I am not telling you to sit anxiously refreshing your phone or obsessively waiting for a specific signal. I am telling you to remain available, to stay attentive to your surroundings and your communications without becoming consumed by anticipation. The action that is coming is going to find you in your ordinary life, and being genuinely present in that ordinary life is what allows you to actually receive it well when it arrives. I want to spend more time on this distinction because I think it genuinely matters for how you experience these next few hours. There is a particular skill involved in waiting actively rather than waiting anxiously. Active waiting means continuing to engage fully with your actual life, your responsibilities, your relationships, your own needs, while remaining open and aware rather than mentally checked out and consumed by anticipation. Anxious waiting, by contrast, tends to pull you out of the present moment entirely, leaving you half present in your actual circumstances, while the other half of your attention spins around what might be coming. I am sensing that you have a natural capacity for this kind of grounded presence, Virgo, even when something significant feels close at hand. Lean into that capacity now. Continue your day, continue your responsibilities, stay engaged with the people and tasks in front of you. This is not because what is coming does not matter, but because your full presence in your own life right now is actually what allows you to receive what is approaching with clarity rather than overwhelm. I want to speak to something important here about how this action might shift your life specifically, because I think the practical implications deserve real attention rather than vague reassurance. I am seeing this opening a door that has felt closed or uncertain recently. Whether that door relates to a relationship, an opportunity, a resolution to something that has felt unresolved, or simply clarity in a situation that has felt confusing, this action is going to provide movement in a direction that serves you. I want to be careful here not to promise something overly specific that I cannot fully verify, but the consistent theme throughout this reading has been forward movement, resolution, and the end of a waiting period that has perhaps felt frustrating or uncertain. I want to address something about your own readiness to receive this, because Spirit is showing me that your energy matters in how smoothly this unfolds. You have been doing real work, Virgo, even during periods that may have felt stagnant or uncertain from the outside. That internal work, the patience, the reflection, the maintaining of your own integrity, even while waiting for clarity from others, has prepared you for this moment more than you may realize. I want you to trust that preparation now rather than doubting your ability to handle whatever this action brings. I want to go deeper into this idea of readiness because I think it matters significantly to how this entire situation has come together. There is a principle that shows up repeatedly in this kind of energetic work, the idea that significant external shifts often arrive precisely when someone has reached a particular internal threshold of their own. I am sensing that your own growth over recent weeks or months, even growth that did not feel directly connected to this specific situation, has contributed to creating the conditions for this action to finally occur. Your patience was not wasted time. It was preparation, even when it did not feel that way from the inside. I also want to speak to the discernment you are going to need once this action arrives. Even good, meaningful news or movement deserves to be received with your full clarity, rather than blind excitement that overrides your own judgment. I am not saying this because I sense anything concerning in what is coming. I am saying it because your own grounded, careful nature is part of what makes you who you are. And I do not want this reading to suggest you should abandon that discernment simply because something positive is unfolding quickly. Let me speak to what happens immediately after this action takes place, because I do not want this reading to end at the moment of action without addressing what follows. There is likely to be a period of processing required on your part. Whatever specifically happens, give yourself permission to sit with it rather than feeling pressured to respond immediately or have everything figured out in the moment it arrives. Significant shifts deserve space to be fully absorbed before decisions need to be made about what comes next. I am also sensing that this action, once it happens, is going to create momentum beyond itself. This is not an isolated event that happens and then everything returns to how it was before. This is a catalyst, something that sets additional movement into motion in the days and weeks that follow. The few hours mentioned in this reading's title represent a beginning point, not a conclusion. I want to describe this momentum a bit further because I think understanding it helps you hold the bigger picture rather than focusing too narrowly on this single moment of action. Once this initial shift occurs, I am seeing a series of smaller developments following in its wake, almost like dominoes set into motion by the first one falling, a conversation that leads to another conversation, a decision that opens space for additional decisions. The energy that has been building toward this moment does not simply dissipate once the action takes place. It continues moving, continues creating ripples that touch other areas of your life beyond the specific situation this reading has focused on. This is part of why I want you to approach the next several days, not just the next few hours, with continued openness, rather than treating this as a single, isolated event to process and then set aside. What begins now is genuinely the start of something larger, and staying attuned to the unfolding pattern over time will serve you well. I want to speak honestly about the possibility of uncertainty even after this action occurs, because I do not want to oversimplify what is genuinely a significant, layered moment. Even positive, meaningful action from someone in your life does not necessarily resolve everything instantly or eliminate every question you might have. You may receive this action and still need time to determine how you feel about it, what you want to do in response, and what it means for your life moving forward. That is normal and appropriate. I want you to give yourself full permission to take whatever time you need to process this rather than feeling obligated to have an immediate, complete reaction. As I bring this reading toward its close, I want to leave you with the complete picture of everything Spirit shared today. Someone in your life is about to take meaningful action within a short window of time, action that has been building internally for them and that is going to genuinely shift the direction of something significant in your life. This person has moved past hesitation into decisiveness, and what they do is going to carry real weight rather than being casual or thoughtless. Stay present, stay attentive to your immediate environment, and give yourself permission to process whatever unfolds at your own pace rather than rushing toward immediate certainty about what it all means. If this reading resonated with you today, please share it with a Virgo who might be sensing something building in their own life right now. And let me know in the comments if you already have a sense of who this person might be. I read every comment, and I carry your stories with genuine care long after this video ends. Until next time, Virgo, something is moving, and it is moving toward you very soon.